Hi everyone. Welcome to CodeTab Management Spring Boot series. So in the last video, we learned the advanced dependency injections after the general dependency injection part. So I have clarified like how you will use the primary and qualifier in a very basic way, and also I have explained you like how you can fetch the bins according to your choice, right? So those concepts I think you got. Okay. So if you have any questions, then also you can comment below. Okay. Otherwise, let's proceed with the concepts, qualifier and primary deeply. Right. So yeah. So what happens when multiple bins of the same time exist? Like same type of bins exist. Then what happens? So don't worry. In this video, we will solve this using the primary and qualifier annotations. Okay, with real examples. So let's get started. So first thing is we will understand the problem. Like we always you need to understand the problem, then you can solve the problem. Okay, just understand the problem when multiple bins are there. So suppose we have an interface, this payment service interface, and there are two implementations. Okay, credit card payment service class also using this payment service, and UPI payment also implementing this payment service, right? So now inside the order service, see what we are doing. We are auto wiring this payment service, right? So Spring gets confused now, like which bin should it inject? So this results no unique bin definition exception. Okay. So now what are the solutions? How can we solve this? So to solve this, we use firstly the primary annotations, which is the default bin. Okay. So this is the default bin, like it tells the Spring like this is the default bin, and use this bin if no other instruction is provided. So see the code here in the component annotations, like in the component class credit card payment, we are using this primary annotations, and we are specifically through these primary annotations we are telling to Spring that don't get confused, use this credit card payment, inject it. Okay, so Spring will now inject the credit card payment by default. So when we will use this primary annotations? So basically when one implementation is used most of the time. So suppose in your business, you are seeing that credit card payment method is being used most of the cases rather than the UPI payment. So what you will do, you will mainly use this primary annotations on top of this credit card payment. Then Spring will inject this credit card payment, then no issue will happen, and UPI payment will be closed at every time. But for the 10% case, when the UPI payment will be used, so at that point of time on top of the UPI payment, you will set the primary annotations. Okay. So in this way, primary basically sets the default bin. So now the second concept is coming that no, we will not set the default one. We will like through our code, we will handle that one. Suppose we don't want to change configurations like this primary annotation, something like we are removing this primary annotations, then we are putting it in the different class. Okay, we don't want to do this multiple times of deletions and inserting. So to solve that one, there is another annotation which is qualifier annotations, and through the qualifier annotations we can specify like which implementation is specifically required. Okay, so to specify that one, to specify the bin like that need to be injected. So for that case, qualifier annotations comes into picture. So what we have done, when multiple implementations exist and you want precise control, we can control that. So at that point of time, qualifier annotations come into picture. So where the ordering happens, this payment service under this order service, when payment service is getting injected, there we will specifically add this qualifier annotation, and inside that we will use the class name. Like this we can configure in our application properties as well. Okay, so from that, whatever name we will give for the payment, like UPI payment service injection, that name you should need here. Okay, so here as we are specifying this UPI payment, so now Spring will inject the UPI payment specifically. If instead of this UPI payment, if we will specify the credit card payment and we will configure through the application properties or application YAML, then the credit card payment will be injected specifically. Okay, so qualifier selects the exact bin through the name it suggests, like qualifier. So to qualify in any examination, you will do something, right? Through some names, through some numbers, we will qualify, right? So that's why here through the name, UPI payment got qualified that this bin need to be injected, right? Okay. Now let's compare between this primary versus qualifier annotations. So primary is the default choice, but qualifier is the explicit selection. Then primary used when no qualifier is given, and qualifier is used when like overrides the primary. Suppose in your project, suppose you are giving the primary annotation as well as the qualifier annotations. So qualifier always overrides primary. So suppose in your project, suppose in this credit card payment where credit card payment class is implementing this payment service, there you are setting it primary, but in the in another class, like in your order service, so and in your suppose UPI payment also implementing that payment service, there you are not specifying any primary or qualifier like that. Like primary will be always in that class level, like which service is being implemented in that level. But qualifier you will use where that interface is being injected at that point of time, where the authoring process is happening. There you will use that qualifier. So as you are specifying at that point when it is getting auto-word, so after it's getting auto-word, it will get to know like what bin we need to inject. So that's why qualifier always overrides the primary. You got the point? Like whenever auto-wiring is happening, like suppose you are going into a restaurant. Okay, you so there by default one drink will be provided, right? By default. But if you will specifically tell that no, Blue Lagoon required, you are specifying, you are qualifying that. Okay, so then Blue Lagoon will be qualified, but by default, drinking water will only will be served, right? So when to the waiter, so here waiter means spring. So in the to the waiter, when you were saying that I need the Blue Lagoon, right? So then instead of the drinking water, he or she can provide the drinking water, but as you are specifying that you need only Blue Lagoon, then waiter will come to you with Blue Lagoon. Okay, so but by default there was like drinking water. Okay, if you will not ask to waiter that give something specifically, then waiter will come to you with a drinking water. So in the same way, when Spring will see the primary annotation on any class, this where this payment service, like whichever interface is being implemented, so by default it will see that primary annotation, and through the primary annotation it will be injected by default. right? But when you are using this that qualifier annotation, then it will get to know, yes, that bin will be required only. So in your program, when you will give both that primary annotations and in the auto add place, when you will give that qualifier, both things will be there in your program. So that qualifier things will be overridden, not the primary things. So qualifier things will be high priority. You got my point? So suppose you are giving this primary annotations on top of credit card payment, and in this qualifier you are specifying this UPI payment. Then the UPI payment will be injected, not the credit card payment. Right? Now the interview questions may ask like from this topic only these three questions can be asked. If you will clearly understand the whole concepts, then these three questions will be easy to answer during your interview. Like what happens if multiple bins exist? Then you can tell properly then what problem can occur, spring can confused, and what ways you will use to solve that problem, right? So then you can differentiate between the primary and qualifier annotations. And the last point, which one has the higher priority, that also I have told you. So qualifier has higher priority than the primary. But the common mistakes usually developers do, they used to forget to give the names in the qualifier, as in the primary there are no names, so in the qualifier also they forget to specify the names. So don't forget to specify the names inside the qualifier. Then you will tell, sir, you have told that qualifier has the higher priority, but I have provided this qualifier and primary as well. And my credit card payment, like on top of credit card payment, I have given that name UPI payment. Like in the on top of credit card payment, I am giving the primary annotations. But in the payments, like in the order service on top of payment service auto wearing things, I have provided the qualifier. But my UPI system is like UPI payment is not getting injected, credit card is being injected. Don't ask these questions. So you have forgotten to use the name there, bin name. So always remember that you need to specify the names when you will use the qualifier, like bin names. Then using the filled injections. Injections you need not to use, and not understanding the default behavior. These are the common mistakes developer do. So today we understood how the Spring resolves the multiple bins using the primary for default and qualifier for specific selection. And if you understood this, you have cleared a very important Spring concept. So if you found this helpful, then like the video, share it, and subscribe for more Spring Boot content. So see you in the next video. Till then, stay tuned. Thanks everyone. Bye.